Thank you once again for tuning in to 18th Avenue Podcast. I am your host, Rico Bottles. 18th Avenue Podcast is about culture and people, their stories. So if that's the kind of thing that you're into, you have most certainly tuned in to the right podcast. Thank you for being here, and we are here today with...
Jordan.
Hey, Jordan, how's it going?
Not bad. How are you, man?
I'm good. We met at the protest.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we had a little circle going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all like speaking our mind and everything. It was a good time. Yeah.
I like it. Spoke with so much passion.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, no, everyone there, they just did a tremendous job, and especially in this city where we don't really get to speak our mind too much.
Right.
It was the perfect opportunity to, like let it all loose, pretty much.
Yeah.
And let everyone hear us. Yeah.
Why do you think that was important?
Well, I've grown up here my entire life. Like my parents, they're both immigrants. My father came from Malawi and my mother's from the Philippines. They both came here when they were about 6 years old, I'd say. Not 100% sure. But yeah, they've grown up in this environment, and I was born into this environment. So while they may have seen some stuff while they were as kids, this is everything I know. And throughout my entire life, I've never really had the chance to speak out. I've always felt somewhat silenced or comfortable in that silence.
Why is that?
Well, when you're born into an environment like that, you just don't know better. So, like, I grew up in Mackenzie Lake. It's pretty much mostly white kids, I'm gonna say blunt. But yeah, like those issues were never brought up. That's the thing. So I never had a reason to question it, never had an opportunity to question it. And then it's just, as I started getting older, as I started, meeting new people, these questions started arising, and you start to, take a deep look at everything. And yeah, that introspection, it builds on you. And then, especially with the protests, it was a perfect opportunity to kind of let it out, speak your mind.
Wow. I mean, I can relate. I lived in Newfoundland for years. My entire family moved to Newfoundland, from Liberia. Let's get to, you mentioned about your mom and dad. Where are your parents from?
So my father's from Malawi. He moved to Britain in London about, not exactly sure when, but he ended up going from Malawi to London, and then about the 6th grade, he came here to Canada. And my mother, she's straight out of Manila, Philippines.
6th grade?
Yeah.
Okay. He came here to
Canada.
So how old was he when he moved? So he was born in...
Malawi.
He was born in Malawi.
Yes.
Moved to London.
Yes. And then he moved to Canada.
So he must have not been there long.
No, it was like about a year. Actually, he was in Spain for a little bit too, so he's kind of been everywhere.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he moved around a lot.
Yeah,
How many languages does he speak?
He, at one point, he spoke French a little bit, and then my grandparents actually speak Creole. So, yeah, and my grandfather, oh my God, he spoke about 10 languages. He just loved learning them. So, like, he knew Arabic, he knew French, he knew a lot of Spanish too. Yeah, everything, man.
That's wild. So what did you learn? What languages did you learn from him?
Well, here I didn't really learn anything but English. Yeah.
Like the rest of us.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like from my grandparents, I picked up a little bit of French. Right. Like, my grandfather called me garçon. That's it.
Garçon.
Yeah, garçon.
Okay, yeah.
And then my grandmother, my mom's side's Filipino, so I get the salamat po and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Cause I speak French.
Oh yeah.
Cause my family went to Ivory Coast, and so I learned how to speak French. So I can just relate. Like I could speak 6 languages before the age of 12, prior to coming here. So it's like, wow, all this different flavor and everything.
Yeah, like I can kind of understand Tagalog a little bit.
Okay.
French, not too much, cause yeah.
And that's like your mother's side.
The Tagalog, yes.
Yeah.
The French is my father's side. Like my grandparents spoke it, but my dad, nah.
So have you visited your mother or your father native home?
No, not yet. I want to one day.
Okay.
But yeah, never had the
What are you
opportunity.
afraid of?
It's not what I'm afraid of, it's what my mom is.
Yeah. What's the hiccup there?
I'm not sure. She's been very vague about it, but she's just saying I wouldn't do well in the Philippines, just with the family there. Yeah.
Oh.
It's just like different energy, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
So, especially as a kid, mom wants to baby her kids. So,
Right.
yeah.
She wants to protect you.
I guess.
I mean, but she can't protect you forever. You're a grown man now.
Exactly. So, one
at
day
some
I'm on my
point-
own.
I have to say, hey, mom, listen, call her from the Philippines. How cool would that be? Would she freak out?
Probably. But you know what? I'll already be there, man.
Exactly. But you do have families back. Like your mother still have
Yes, I do.
extended family back.
Yes, we do.
Are you tight with them?
I don't actually know them. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So I have on my mother's side, I'm a lot closer than my grandfather's side because they're like in Europe, and then there's only a few of them in Calgary, so there's not too many. But my mom's side, all the families in Calgary, we keep pretty close.
Right.
Some of them are in San Francisco, and the rest are in Manila.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so
That's really cool. What about your father's side? How is that looking? Have you?
So, well, with my father, he has two brothers. I don't see them too much anymore, but yeah, I see my grandmother. My grandfather died about 2 years ago, so
Hey,
yeah.
condolences.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with my father's side, I have like a lot of aunties and uncles in London, and then besides that, they're all kind of scattered throughout Europe. Yeah, they all kind of got out of Malawi.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure why, but they're chilling.
Malawi is a cool spot, man. I don't know much about Malawi because I'm not Malawian. But, Malawi is like, as a kid, there was always like, the music and stuff. In the
Yeah.
music you would hear Malawi, so it's like a very popular nation in Africa. So, it's one of those countries you can't forget about them. Yeah. So, what do you do now?
Well, I'm still a student, so I'm going to UBC right now in Vancouver. I'm taking computer science with a minor in creative writing. So I intend in the future to make video games, start my own studio. So yeah, that's the plan so far.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So you're doing this at UBC, which is in Vancouver? you
Yeah.
said? Okay. So you're just home for the summer?
I'm actually here for the year because of COVID, because
Oh, so everything shut down.
because there's a lot of international students there. It's right on the coast. There's 60,000 kids on the campus.
Right.
So it's big risk just having everybody go home, they come back, and then
Got it. So they don't want everybody to go home. So right now,
So as of right now, it's all shut down.
so what about the international students? Where are they staying?
So right now, school is all online. That's how most universities are dealing with it.
Got it.
So the first semester is 100% like online, remote learning. Second semester's kind of tentative, but we'll see. Yeah,
Well, hopefully this ends before we get to second semester. I doubt it.
I'm praying.
I mean, yeah, I'm hopeful, but like I'm just like, man, there's a good possibility we may not get that. So building animation, building video games. Are you like a huge gamer?
Oh yeah, it's been since I was a kid. Yeah, no, I remember I've had first thing I had was like a GameCube, and then my cousin was showing me like the Atari and stuff at my grandparents' house.
Right.
But yeah, no, ever since I was a kid, I was just like, one day I want to put something on this console. I want to make something that people play and enjoy.
really sick.
Yeah.
That's very sick. How hard is that though? Because I struggle. I was trying to build a website just recently, and it was so frustrating. Like it's the most intense, frustrating thing I ever experienced. How hard is building video games?
The thing with video games is that there's so many moving parts. Like you got the programming, you got the arts, you got like game design in itself, making sure it's fun, sound. If you're making a story game, you need the story, you need acting, you need proper writing, and then just all of that together is a lot.
Okay, so then it will be much like the movies. Like if you're making like a sci-fi movies, you still need like people in green screen.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And things like that. So with the video game, it's the same procedure, basically.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
there's still a lot of computer portion of it that you have to do.
Yeah. So, especially with my degree right now, since I'm getting a degree from UBC in computer science, it's gonna be like a lot of programming. Well, so far it's been a lot of programming.
Right,
so
right.
just learning how the languages work, how to build like basic desktop programs.
Right.
Yeah, and then later, as you get into your degree, you kind of delve into like computer graphics, AI, stuff like that.
Okay. That's pretty cool, man. Thanks for sharing that with us. So let's go into cuisine. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
That's what I've been waiting for.
I know you like food, man. I love food. What's your like? so clearly you're not super tight with your extended family as far as like your Filipino side, but I mean your mother is still there. So she does most of the cooking, or you help out? How does that
Oh,
work?
but when I can, you know.
Which is never.
Un poquito, un poquito. Yeah.
Pizza, I like that. Okay. So like, what's your favorite? What's your favorite kind of meal?
Well, it depends. From Filipino cuisine, I have two. There's something called pancit. It's kind of a noodle dish
Okay.
with like a bunch of vegetables like cabbage, carrots and stuff, and then there's like shrimp and chicken and stuff.
Healthy stuff.
Yeah. It's all whole food, all good.
Yeah.
And then she also makes like these spring roll things that are, I think she calls them Shanghai. I don't know if that's the actual name, but that's what she's been calling it.
That's what she's been calling it?
Yeah.
Well, you best believe that's the name.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you know how to make these dishes? What's the dish called again?
The first one's pancit.
Pancit.
Yeah, so that's the noodle dish.
I've actually never heard of that. I need to talk to my sister-in-law. I feel like she's holding out because I know I'm familiar with adobo.
Yeah, adobo, that's also one of my favorites. I know how to make that pretty good.
You know how to make it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about pancit. Is it pancit?
Pancit. So
Pancit.
yeah, so think of pan and then sit.
Pancit.
Almost, so like pan.
Oh, pond.
Yeah.
Like the lake pond. Like
Yeah, there we go.
Body
There
of
we
water.
go.
Okay, got it. Pancit. Okay.
Yeah.
And you know how to make that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. And what's like the most interesting thing your mom ever made? You're just like, I like this, but like, you know how sometimes like people
Oh,
make
yeah.
certain dishes, it's like you're not sure how to turn it down.
Yeah.
What's the most interesting?
Well, there was one I could think of. Have you ever heard of balut?
No.
So, okay.
Need to talk to my sister-in-law.
Oh, she'll know. She'll definitely know about this. So it's a delicacy, but it's basically an egg, but there's still kind of like a little like a chicken in it almost,
Okay.
like growing a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a delicacy because it's kind of like almost fermented.
Okay.
So yeah, you eat that like just whole.
Oh, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, especially my family. We kind of eat the basics when it comes to Filipino food because we're growing up in the white community. It's,
Right.
It's steak and pasta. Yeah.
Steak and fries. Gotta love it though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ain't no complaints.
for certain
Occasion, I feel like there has to be appropriate occasion for like steak and pasta.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you're celebrating, like, I don't know, maybe like an anniversary and you wanted to go to a fancy restaurant, let's say Sky 360, for instance.
Oh yeah, man.
Right? You go out there, you're not going to be ordering anything else but, one of the essential dishes that they carry, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like, yeah, that would fit. So we are currently in the middle of our segment here. And I just want to remind the people real quickly here what they're watching. Hey, guys, if you're just tuning into this episode, I'm Rico. Sitting here with me is Jordan, and we are just, talking about culture and people and stories. So thank you for joining us. And yeah, so I'm going back to Jordan. You mentioned about your father's side, right? Him being from Malawi. Does he cook too, or is your mom like, yo, I'm in charge of this, get out of here?
He does cook. Most of the stuff he does isn't like too cultural with his heritage and stuff like
'cause
that.
He's been here since 2 or 3.
Oh yeah.
6.
Yeah. No, he's he grills a lot. He's good on the grill. So,
Oh, he's a grill man.
yeah, he's a grill man.
I imagine him with the grill and the beer. Does he drink beer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's his favorite beer?
Heineken.
Heineken.
Yeah, there you
That's major. I'm surprised it's not Guinness though, because Africa love Guinness.
Yeah, no. His go-tos are either Heineken or I think I don't know. It's like whatever he feels pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. He likes Heineken with the lime, and then the Coronas as well.
Corona, well, you
Yeah.
gotta love that.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your go-to for a drink?
For a drink, I do bartending on the side, so I drink a little bit
There
of
you are.
everything.
I
Yeah.
knew we were going to get there.
There you
So
You needed to figure out your side hustle. I just wasn't sure how to bring that up. Okay, so bartending.
Yeah.
here in the city or back in Vancouver?
I did it in Vancouver for a little bit, and I do the Stampede every once in a while here. So
Okay.
yeah. And then Spruce Meadows.
Yes, love it there.
Yeah, there you
Love
go.
it. It's so fantastic. I actually want to do a photo shoot out there.
Oh really? Yeah, it's beautiful there.
Place.
Yeah, no, me and my friend, we did some bartending there just in the skyboxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just were kind of tight with the caterers, so we kind of, just manned those for a little bit and did the bartending.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Dude, it's raining like crazy.
Yeah, man. It's just been building and building. Like,
It's yeah. Because we were like,
Literally going to sit over there and we'd be so wet right now and have
Yeah,
all
man.
types of equipment regrets. That would be like the worst regret.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, your cameras are good. They're in the perfect spot.
oh,
so,
they are in
yeah,
the perfect spot.
Yeah.
The rain would beat me first before it reached them. It's crazy. Wow, it's nuts.
Yeah.
So we were talking bartending and your favorite drink. So what's like your favorite? What's your go-to beer?
Go-to beer. I mean, you brought up Guinness. I like Guinness a little bit.
All right, Guinness. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Why, though?
It's just kind of deep. I like it. I like the deep taste. Yeah. Cause like, especially when you're drinking kind of a light beer, like a Budweiser. Let's not think about Budweiser. No.
Right.
Let's maybe like a Kokanee. You know, it's kind of light. You know, just kind of tastes like soda to me.
Right.
And you know, when you're drinking quite a few of those with the boys, man.
It's such a diss.
Yeah. Like at least with like a Guinness, I can taste it and I know what I'm drinking.
Okay,
It's just
yeah.
like okay,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Guinness also has a lot of like it's heavy. It's not. You're right. It's not liquidish at all. It's like very heavy, and I've always been told I'm not a beer guy at all. And Guinness was one of the first beer that I tasted as a kid, and I was just like, "What the hell? This thing is bitter,"
And I couldn't take it.
So since then, I don't. I hated every beer. Since then, wouldn't even try any one of them. But if you're hungry, you want to try Guinness because it's very heavy and it's filling too.
I don't think I've ever like been like straight up full from it because you know I just kind of sip on them. But like no, it's especially when you're drinking like kind of a lighter beer, it's just you pound them down and it's just kind of it's light.
That's pretty awesome.
I don't know the word to it, but yeah. I feel like I'm accomplishing something when I'm drinking a Guinness. There we go. That's
You
what.
feel on top of the world.
There we go.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
we go.
okay.
Yeah.
It makes total sense. It's like, because I'm a wine person, right? Like, I love wine. I love red wine and
Really?
what? Yeah, I love
Okay.
wine. I don't drink as much anymore, but I still try to keep a bottle or two,
It's good. Yeah.
right? Around just in case, special occasion. So I'm curious now, like, have you and your mom, or like not so much your father, because he grew up here. He kind of like us, like, right? But your mom in particular, like, is there like any kind of tradition, like how the Philippines have so much different flavor in terms of like the cultural dance and different thing. What's like one of the most significant thing that you kind of remember?
Well, for me, like, there's not too much to the Filipino guys, but especially like with I have two sisters.
Okay.
So yeah, they're very invested into it because I kind of relate more to my father's side,
Okay.
and then my sisters relate more to the Filipino side. So yeah,
You just copped out right up with your dad. Eh?
yeah.
Like,
The nice thing about multiculturalism is that you can kind of just get the best of both worlds, and
Yeah.
you resonate with you can resonate with a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
Because
you're absolutely right.
because you're not excluding them at the end of the day. You're just
Right.
kind of like, I had this conversation with my friend the other day, because the Spider-Mans, the Miles Morales, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we were having a conversation. Sorry, this is a bit of a segue.
It's okay.
Yeah, but we were having this conversation about like, when you were a kid, who did you relate to more? And I was saying, I relate to Miles Morales more. And he was like, I relate to Peter Parker. He's Latino, just
okay.
to preface. But he was like, yeah, why you pick?
I didn't know he was Latino.
No, my friend is.
Oh, your
Yeah.
friend. Okay, all right.
Miles Morales is actually Latino. He's half black and half Latino.
No way.
The mother is Latina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy how it works. But yeah, so we were talking about this, and I was like, I relate more to Miles Morales. He's like, as a kid, I've always related to Peter Parker. I never saw anything in Miles Morales. And we were talking about, like, at the end of the day, he was kind of seeing it like, oh, why are you just relating with him because he's black? And I was like, no. But the thing
You're
is,
supposed to say yes. Yeah.
well, no. Here's the thing. When it comes to relatability in characters,
Right.
I don't want to say race is the one thing because I'm not lying. I relate to Miles Morales because a part of it, he's black.
Right.
That's part of it. But the thing is, there's a lot more going on there.
Right.
Like, he is kind of this nerdy kid, He loves computers. He goes to school. He's trying to be like an engineer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
His father's always kind of hounding him. His mom is Latina, and Filipinos and Latinos kind of have a little bit of a semblance. So
right.
I see a lot of myself in him and just the attitude.
Makes sense.
Yeah, even like the idea of him wanting to be Spider-Man because he idolizes him. And I was like I see a lot of myself in him. And
That makes sense.
yeah, it's not just because he's black at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I like
yeah.
one of the.
I mean, aside from like Bugs Bunny and like Roadrunner and all those crazy cartoons as a kid, you kind of watch and you get addicted to. One of my, I love a lot of Japanese anime. That's pretty cool. But one of my favorite is Afro Samurais.
Oh, I love Afro Samurai. Yeah, yeah.
Just kick ass all over
Yeah,
the place.
man.
I'm like, yo, this guy's dope.
There you go. There you go.
That's pretty awesome, man. So let's bring it back to what's currently going on. Are you aware of like what's going on in the news at all, like right now?
Protest or non-protest doesn't have to be like with Jada Pinkett Smith. I'd like to get your opinion on that. You know what's going on.
Yeah, with the August and whatever.
Yeah. Like, we have another 4 minutes left on the clock here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That Jada and that Will Love.
What's going on? What do you think is going on there? Like,
With them, man. I don't know too much about that. Like, I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of a shock, you know. You just kind of. You kind of think that, they got that perfect life, they got the kids that, they're thriving right now.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's kind of a surprise because especially Will Smith, he's been kind of relatively squeaky clean.
Yeah.
And then you got this coming out and it's just like, oh, man, the genie, you did that to him?
why would you do that to the genie?
That wasn't part of his 3 wishes.
Right.
But that's wild though. Actually, for me, it's not a total surprise because like I've heard like what I knew because Jada have openly talked about her promiscuity and things like that. Yeah, in the past. So for me, it wasn't like a total shock. But it's just like
It's confirmation,
yeah, it's confirmation. It's different when you hear it. It's like when your lady said, I kissed this guy, but you didn't actually, It's just like, like someone sees your lady doing that and then comes and tell you, but you kind of still have to go to her and be like, hey, what happened there?
Yeah. It's just like the little speck of chance, like,
Yeah.
are you playing me or are they playing
Yeah.
me? So,
But I don't know. For me, it's kind of like weird that if I was August, right, this wouldn't even be a conversation I bring up.
yeah.
Like ever, because I feel like not even so much that I'm trying to respect her privacy or anything or their privacy. No, it got nothing to do with that. I just feel like what happens between you and somebody kind of have to be like a secret, unless it's like a major. So I don't know. For me as a guy, like I'm just like that's kind of weird for me,
Yeah. No, like at the end of the day, it's kind of shocking, but like it is what it is. I don't know, man. I'm gonna still watch Will Smith shows. This doesn't change anything about it.
no, exactly. No. It doesn't change anything about.
I'll be honest, I don't know what Jada's in really.
I think I should start calling the podcast like the pink table since we have kind of like a pink one.
I won't be bad,
Pink and neon green chairs. That'd be nice. They're metal style. Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about whilst we're here?
Actually, I want to talk. Well, we were getting back on like today's issues and stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, it's because on the way here, as you know, there's still people in City Hall kind of protesting and stuff, right? And they've been in like City Hall. They've been trying to speak their mind. Some of them been sleeping there, just trying to get everything out on the table. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you could see that they're tired. And I drove by today, and I just saw people outside with flags, just waiting there, just being persistent. And I like seeing that because, especially after the protests that, like, we both went to, we both saw this up front.
That's right.
It's just, it died off to so many. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, it died off pretty quick to some people, and it's just, I don't understand why, because this is an important issue.
But I think I can understand why it would die out because we don't live in a society where this is happening to the vast majority of people. This is why it's dying out. It's not affecting the vast majority of people. You can have Filipino come out. You can have the Asian come out. You can have whites come out. You can have black come out. You have whoever you want come out. But the fact that it's not happening to the vast majority of people, and for some people, this is the very first time they're even hearing about the subject matter. So people went there for different reasons. People are protesting for different reasons. People are protesting because they have a friend that's black or a friend or, hey, they want to get out of the house, whatever. So if it was affecting the vast majority of people, I think like the population, this whole city be turned upside down.
Exactly, yeah.
This entire city would be turned upside down. But you know what I was absolutely shocked about? You watch UFC?
I did. Yeah, I watched the fight last night.
You watched the fight last night. Okay. Well, I wouldn't even have guessed there was a fight last night. So Dana White,
Okay.
the owner, he is one of the owners. Is that right? Is he like the owner or is he just the manager?
I'm not 100%.
You're not 100%. Okay, well, he was asked during a press conference what he thought about the situation that's going on. Like, what he thought about, and his response was like, oh, what are you, what situation? And the lady had to dumb it down and say, well, with the protests and everything like that, like she was really, really dumbing it down because she didn't want to be too upfront. And he was like, I don't even know how to answer that. That was his response to it. Like, my thing is, like, how much of a jerk do you have to be? Like, how many blacks from all over the world tune in to watch UFC? How many blacks athletes have ran through that octagon?
Yeah.
How can you turn your back and say, I don't even know how to answer that? Like, what are you, a child? Like, how do you not know how to answer that?
Like it's right it's in the wild. Like, you see it every day. It's not like you can be blind to these issues.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like, especially with companies, I don't understand the mentality where you have to politicize something like that. It's, at the end of the day, it's a human right. It's right and wrong. Like, if you're just gonna ignore it, you're just as worse as the people that are just kind of perpetrating, you know?
I don't know. Like, I just feel like,
I get from his perspective, he doesn't want to say something because it's like the image of the UFC or something like that. It's the idea of just kind of politicizing just a basic issue like human rights, It's, at the end of the day, I understand the hesitance to, like, say something because, you got stakeholders, you got people that might not agree that are higher up than you and stuff like that, right?
but then my question becomes like, okay, I get it. There's so many ways. Like, for me, I'm like, on one hand, I get it. You're trying to be a businessman. But the very people who support your channel, who support this event, who are behind it, are the people that you are giving the middle finger to behind closed doors or out in public. Now, as a public figure, you have a responsibility not only to whatever it is that you are known for, but also to the people that follows you. So if the champion of the UFC appears on the press conference and he is asked about what is going on in the country and how maybe it's affecting people, and he says, well, I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It's ignorant in a way to me because, there's these people supporting you, but I don't know. I don't know if there's an answer. I don't know if there's an answer to it because at the end of the day, what I say is, you should have said something at the end of the day because there's people, like, supporting his company, supporting this organization, and you're just kind of spitting in their face, right? But I don't know. I don't understand the mentality of some of these people, man.
Yeah, I don't. And to me, he's a big name.
Like, sure, maybe I'm not a fan of UFC. In fact, I'm not a fan of, like, sports in general, period. Like, I would tune in if there's, like, a major fight, major event. And it primarily has to be with a fighter that I like, someone I saw on TV and I maybe like his mannerism and I felt like I was connected to him somehow. Then I would support that individual when they have their big event. Or like a football club, World Cup, or something like that. So I'm one of these individuals that would turn up for, like, the big events, right? But at the same time, watching something like this, I'm just like, who cares? It's like saying, we don't care. We just want our money at the end of the day, and we don't care about what they're burning down, what they're not doing. Forget that. We just got started up again. Don't be asking me those questions. We don't care. We want our money, and that's all we want.
Yeah, man. Oh, my God.
That's the energy I get.
You see, that's how I feel. And it's not just exclusive to UFC either. It's a lot of corporations.
Right.
Like, yeah. Well, even, like, Instagram and Facebook. Like, especially with all these protests and even like coronavirus too. You have people just freely posting stuff that are like hateful, demeaning, like even misogynistic, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's been a big like debate right now. It's because Facebook and Instagram aren't doing anything about it.
Right.
So, like, where do you draw the line where, you know, enough is enough?
Yeah.
And, you know, you're trying to make $1 at the end of the day, but is it worth it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And that's sad. But some point we got to wrap this up. You know, it's been great, Jordan. I want to thank you, man, for, I know it's sad, but that's how I like to operate. You know, I like to contact people and be like, hey, listen, we're podcasting. It's like, when? Okay, let me get back to you. Boom, 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 boom. And here we are. And you showed up and we did the podcast. And this was great. Great experience. I got to learn a little bit more about you. And next time we will probably learn a little bit more about me.
Yo, I can't wait, man. I gotta learn about your cuisine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you should have brought it up. That's next time for sure. Look, it's been a pleasure. And yeah, thank you. So, guys, thank you now for tuning in to another episode of 18th Avenue Podcast. And this is the end of it. This is a wrap. You can find us now on Spotify. Find us on Spotify, Anchor Podcast. And we are on 5 different platforms. If you watch the intro to this podcast, which should be released now in the next few days. If you do watch the intro, it will let you know exactly where to find us at this point. Also, 18avenuepodcast.com is the website. You can tune in there. We have a few episodes out there and things like that. Jordan, man, I would just want to thank you. You're fantastic.
Oh, thanks for having me, brother.
Thank you, B. This is great.